Okay, now on for the day. Let's get started. So our first speaker today is Amanda Cox, and Amanda is a blogger, TV presenter, founder, director, writer and editor of parent support information and resource website Real Mums. She's an author of a personal blog known as Mad Cow, and she's passionate about mental, social and physical well-being of mothers, their children and Australian families in general. Amanda shares her journey into motherhood and surviving postnatal depression. Welcome, Amanda.
Oh, thank you. Yay, I get to sing. Told me there was karaoke today. Welcome. I have to say it's a little bit overwhelming being in a room full of fabulous people who actually know what they're doing with children. So, thank you and welcome today. I'm really impressed with what the committee have done here today. This is really amazing. So, and I'm glad to see so many people here. It's really good. I hope you're having a good morning so far. I'm guessing I don't need to tell you guys about play because you all know the benefits of play. Hoping it's what you do a lot during the day. We know that it's beneficial on many levels. And by the way, I've got notes because I tend to wander off on all kinds of tangents. So the notes are for your benefit, not for mine. We know that play is beneficial on so many levels. We know that it's great for social development. We know that it's great for emotional development. And we know that it's great for imagination, all kinds of things. We know it's good for physical development, for fine motor control, for gross motor control, for coordination. We all know that, right? Cool. So I'd like, if I may, to tell you a story about a woman that I once knew. She was fit and healthy. She was inspiring. She looked really hot in a lycra G-string leotard. Not that she wore them for fun. She was actually a personal trainer and taught aerobics when lycra G-string leotards were the go. She loved life. She had a great sense of humour. She was an amazing person. She was loads of fun and always the life of the party. She met a wonderful man who also happened to be a chef, but that's by the by. She married him, and as one does in the path of life, she fell pregnant. She had the pregnancy of her dreams and no morning sickness. Everything went really smoothly, and she was still teaching aerobics at 8.5 months pregnant. She still had a great sense of humour, she was still inspiring and was still the life of the party. When her son was 3 months of age, she started her uni degree at the age of 29. In her spare time, she assisted her husband with his business, and for all intents and purposes, she was the super mum. Her main goal in life, however, was to be the best mother in the world. She wanted to do it all right. She wanted to do everything right. She was going to be perfect. Her son was not going to grow up to be an axe murderer. He was going to grow up well-adjusted, psychologically, emotionally, and he was going to be awesome. That was her main goal, just to be the best mother in the world. She'd already stumbled at the first step because she'd had an emergency C-section. So her goal after that was to right that very wrong. She read all of the books. She knew what to expect when she was expecting and beyond. She knew how to raise happy children. She knew all the secrets of happy families and having a non-growing up axe-murdering child. She knew everything. She researched, she read, she followed all of the trends. She sat on the floor, because as was the time, to do craft and cutting and pasting with her son. She played Play-Doh. She would spend hours constructing Island of Sodor train tracks. You get that, don't you? You really get that. Don't you? Now it's dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are fun. She did everything right. She fed him the right foods. She played with him. She organised play dates. She made sure that her son was getting the best in terms of emotional development, of physical development, and of social development. Sorry. What she was also doing was spending every moment of her day fighting dark thoughts. She was encapsulated in a black cloud. Every moment she was trying to think of ways to kill herself. She was trying to fight this constant urge to die. That was her only other goal in life, to be the best mother and to die. She would slice the carrots for dinner because cooking dinner was her only way to control what was, everything else that was out of control in her life. So as she sliced the carrots, she would imagine slicing her wrists. She would then contemplate how long would this take her to die? How much blood would there be? And who would clean it up? Her husband encouraged her to take long baths and just to relax and chill out a little bit and possibly stop being a little bit of a control freak. Those moments spent in the bath were not relaxing. They were spent with pondering how long it would take her to die, how long she would need to hold her head underwater before her life ended. She would take her drives out to uni and back again, and she would contemplate every pole along the way, every tree, every truck, and wonder which one was the best one that would stop her life there and then. So while she was being the best mother in the world, her mind was a constant battle with these thoughts. She was convinced that for her son not to grow up to be an ex-murderer, for her son to grow up to be the most well-adjusted socially, emotionally and psychologically, she would be better off out of his life. And you can imagine the battle between the two. There were two things that stopped her from doing this, however. One of them was that her mother-in-law would be involved in the raising of her son if she did that. And the other thing were words that she remembered. She was about, maybe 8 or 9 at the time. She'd been staying with her grandmother. And there was news on the radio about a 14-year-old who would commit suicide. And her grandmother, more to herself than to anybody else, said, "Why don't they talk to somebody?" And that was the thing that stuck in her mind. Why don't they talk to somebody? So that's exactly what she did. She went and sought counselling. She was prescribed medications for her antidepressants, for her depression. She was prescribed antidepressants for her depression. That makes a lot more sense. She, as I said, embarked upon a lot of counselling. And one of the things that she also did is she allowed herself to be herself. Because in all of this reading and all of this research and being a good mother, she had lost sight of who she was. She'd forgotten who she was. So the first thing she did was she stopped forcing herself and her child to sit on the floor and cut and paste because, quite frankly, neither of them enjoyed it. She stopped the Play-Doh, and quite honestly, part of that reason was because once she found a little blob of Play-Doh on her desk and thought it was poo because her son had thought it was a really good idea to mix all the colours together. So we won't discuss that trauma because that was traumatic, traumatically traumaful. She stopped being this person that she thought she should be. And she started to be the person, not the person that she was before she had children, but the person that she was, the person that she had always been. Because having children doesn't stop a person from being who they really are. Working with children doesn't stop a person from being who they really are. And that's who she went back to. She gave herself the freedom to be the person she was. She regained her sense of humour. She started jumping in puddles on rainy days. She started playing on playgrounds with her son instead of sitting back and watching him, because you know what? Good mothers don't do monkey bars. Good mothers don't run up and down slides. Good mothers sit on the floor and do craft. And that was her belief. She doesn't know whether good mothers jump in puddles or not, but that's what she decided to do. She started rolling down hills and climbing trees some more. And as she did this, the black fog started to lift for her. She started to get a sense of who she was. And as those thoughts of suicide left her, as her desire to die, to end her life and to leave her son and her husband, they started to go, they started to fall away, and she started to get that real sense of herself. And more than that, her home filled with a lot more love, a lot more laughter, and a lot more enjoyment, and the odd broken bone and quite a few bruises, but we won't go there. She really started to find herself. And I don't want to share this story with you because it's inspiring and motivating and blah, blah, blah. I really wanted to share it with you because I think one of the things that we overlook with play is, yes, that it's beneficial for our growth and development. Yes, it's beneficial for our bodies. Yes, it's beneficial for our minds, but it's also beneficial for our hearts and souls. It is beneficial not just for children, but for the big kids as well. It is important for those from this height to this height. It's important from ages 0 to 136. Play is not just for the mind and body. Play is for the heart and the soul. I share this story with you because this is my story. I share this story with you because of how important play is and how we overlook the very importance of play. And all that I ask you is to please never stop playing. Thank you for listening. And yeah, just please keep playing.